One of the guest speakers there was a former professional player, has a son with the Las Vegas Raiders. He was speaking on his 20 years in professional sports. And now is the time that it is a business. Because when money is on the line, and we're talking high stakes money, like NIL, for example, if you don't know what that is, it's name, image, likeness. There are college athletes making more than professional athlete salaries being in college. In fact, this year, there was the fewest number of players in the NBA draft than ever before, because these players are making more money in college than they would be if they had gotten drafted to play for a pro team. When you're talking about business, they either subconsciously in the back of their mind, their agenda is, what can I get out of you? Simple as that. And can what I get out of you help me get to the goals that I want? People are looking at you in business. What can I get out of you? And can what I get out of you help me get to where I want to go? So when you're interacting in the real world of business, and we're talking flat bid, we're not talking about drinking buddies and who you hanging out and go fishing or play golf or go to brunch with. I'm talking about business. There's only two ways people are looking at you. What can they get out of you? And what can they, or how can they prevent you from taking away from what they have? Yo, what's up, everybody? This is the End-to-End Podcast, and I'm your host, Dr. Yun Win, also known as the Ninja Prolific Ninja by my family and friends, and that's also where you can find me on social, on Instagram, The Prolific Ninja or Prolific Ninja on X. And because my fans and my friends, you can call me Ninja too. This is the End-to-End Podcast, the Alpha to the Omega, the beginning to the end. Time of life, motivation, drive, success, self-improvement, and offering you morsels in this all-you-can-eat buffet called life. Back in my conference room. I don't know what it is, just the vibe here is a little bit different. But back to be here, good to be back in my office. In fact, this is the first time I set foot in my office in several weeks. 2 weeks ago, we were in Minneapolis doing the PFAS conference. Last week, it spread into the weekend, talking with my son in Orange County, Irvine, California, where he was invited as a top 20 Asian senior basketball player in North America at the All-Star Game, the amazing All-Star Game. And then just this last week, back again in Austin on a Bitcoin conference. This thing, Bitcoin, record highs today, over $111,000 per coin. I told y'all back when it was $73,000, right? There was a pullback. I told y'all, I wish you bought some. And here's the thing about Bitcoin. You don't have to have $111,000 to buy a coin. You can buy fractional Bitcoin, and these are called sats, S-A-T, sats, for Satoshi Nakamoto, who invented Bitcoin, the anonymous guy. But you can buy sats. So if you have $5, you can buy $5 of Bitcoin. If you have 50, 500, 5,000, 500, whatever, you can buy fractional Bitcoin. So that's just, you need to look into this because there's this mega massive wealth shift that if you don't know economics, it is happening right now. In fact, how it's all intertwined is the bond market. Remember, again, I had an episode about the $9 trillion in debt that needs to be either refinanced or sold off or something with the United States that's due this year. Well, Japan's debt is even worse. And their bond auction, so what happens is the government auctions off bonds that investors would buy, right, for interest in the Japanese economy. Well, the Japanese economy is so bad that nobody's buying their bonds. And so their bond market crashed. Bitcoin is going up. The US bond market is likely to also crash. And so what do you think is going to happen when the biggest economy in the world's bond market crashes? That's all I'm going to say. I'll say more. I mean, y'all let me know if y'all want me to talk about this more, but that's where we are. But we're back in my conference room. Glad to be back here. We were blowing and going. Before I get into this episode, I want to say one thing, or actually two things, which is one, I always start my episodes as I start my day. And so when I wake up in the morning, I thank God and the universe for another day to hopefully be great and hopefully inspire just one person. That could be you. And that is all I want out of the day. But secondly, based on that, I want to thank you all, my fans and my supporters, my followers, and the people, most importantly, that share my content. Thank you all for following, supporting, liking, commenting, sharing. This has been a 3-year run, over a 3-year run, where we're putting out an episode on a weekly, reels almost every day. You all out there have been fantastic. We are growing our follower base, our listening base substantially. And I can't grow this without you all because I have no sponsors. I do this with my own money. Obviously, I'm in my own office. I got a crew. They put together the content for me. And so what we do here is on a karmic exchange, which is if you find value out of this episode or any other episode, okay, if you find value, please share the show. If you're new to the show or if you've been listening for a while, I believe in karma a lot. In the end, everything balances because energy cannot be created nor destroyed. And so when you put out energy, that has to go somewhere. And ultimately, at the end, it balances. And so if you're getting this energy, you need to bring that energy and put it somewhere else. And that's sharing the show or following any of the projects that I'm working on, which is CuraConnector.com, which I'll talk about. Legacy X Token, which is this crypto thing. So if you can't get into Bitcoin, there are other real cryptos that you should follow. Legacy X Token is one of those. We're changing the legal estate framework on the blockchain. And then thirdly, you can follow my law firm, obviously westlooplaw.com. And then finally, with PFAS, how we were in Minneapolis a couple weeks ago, PFAS is the next asbestos. So if you know anything about asbestos causing lung cancer, PFAS is 10 times worse. It's in our water. 99% of Americans have it in our blood already. So it doubles your risk of cancer. So we're trying to help as many cancer clients as we can. We're now over 1,200 clients we're working with on trying to get them some type of justice for the cancer they've got. So this past weekend, as I mentioned, we were in Orange County, Irvine. Nate was at an all-star event. Top 20 male and female Asian descent seniors in North America were invited to play in this showcase event. All across North America, from Canada, Toronto, Quebec, DC, Baltimore, Texas, of course. Just everyone flew in. It was really, really an exciting event. They had a youth camp. Gosh, over 300-400 young kids that the All-Stars were able to run through the camp and run through skills. It was just a good way to give back to the community. All that fantastic, fantastic time. They were basically like superstars. They were signing autographs for these kids. It's really, really, really cool. Great experience. They did have guest speakers in there. And here's the thing. At some point, so there's a transition from being, having a kid or, an adolescent or immature view on life to becoming an adult, mature, it's business. Okay, that was the message to the seniors now becoming college players. And when I say college players, we're talking D3 all the way up to D1. Multiple levels, nationally ranked players, they were out there. That transition for Nate, and there's a take home to this message. That transition for Nate, my son, is now. It's gone from playing basketball as a source of pleasure, which you should always enjoy what you're doing. Now layering it to becoming it's all business. One of the guest speakers there is a former professional player, has a son with the Las Vegas Raiders. It's kind of hard to say because it used to be the Oakland Raiders football team, pro football team, NFL team. He was speaking on his 20 years in professional sports. And now is the time that it is a business. Because when money is on the line, and we're talking high stakes money, like NIL, for example, if you don't know what that is, it's name, image, likeness. There are college athletes making more than professional athlete salaries being in college. In fact, this year, there was the fewest number of players in the NBA draft than ever before because these players are making more money in college than they would be if they had gotten drafted to play for a pro team. So when you're talking like that, it becomes a business. And in fact, if you're an adult listening to this, and even if you're a teenager that's in business, because, with AI and all this technology, you could be any age, but be in business. Once it's in business, it's a competition. It is a cutthroat, dog-eat-dog world. And what do I mean by that? And that's what I was talking to my son, and it just dawned on me. When you're in business, people look at you in one or maybe both of two ways. And this is the lesson for today's podcast. One, they are looking at what they can get out of you. Okay, in business, people are always looking at, they're as nice as and polite and as cordial and as loving as people are. When you're talking about business, they either subconsciously in the back of their mind, their agenda is, what can I get out of you? Simple as that. And can what I get out of you help me get to the goals that I want? People are looking at you in business. What can I get out of you? And can what I get out of you help me get to where I want to go? That's it. So in that context, you got to know your value. You must know what you're bringing to the table. Because if you know people are trying to get something out of you, you better damn get paid for what they're going to get, or you limit what you give them. Okay, you can create scarcity. You can, if you're a highly skilled AI agent coder, and 99.9% of the population has no idea how to code an AI agent, well, you better damn make sure you get paid for that. Okay, or if you're a French fry cooker, nothing against French fry cookers, I love French fries, but that's not as a unique talent. And so there's a value for that, right? There is always a value. What can I extract out of you? And can that help me to where I want to go? So you got to know your value. Okay. The second side of it, and it could be, again, be one of both. It can be one or both. Business is competition. The other way people are looking at you in business, okay, is if you're too good, how can I sabotage you from taking things away from me? They're going to prevent you from coming to the table in order to not outshine what they are offering. So when you're interacting in the real world of business, and we're talking flatbed, we're not talking about drinking buddies and who you hanging out and go fishing or play golf or go to brunch with. I'm talking about business. There's only two ways people are looking at you. What can they get out of you? And what can they, or how can they prevent you from taking away from what they have? That's it. So on the basketball court, same with Nate. I said, Nate, you're out there. This is a showcase. It's not a team sport. You're not a team. You're showcasing. So there will be players out there trying to use you to make them shine or prevent you from outshining them. And that's how it applies in the real world of business. In fact, there's several situations recently happening to me personally where I'm playing chess moves against people I know trying to take stuff from me or prevent me from getting in their path. And my only path is to get in front of their path. So that ain't happening. If you know me, you know me. So when you look at the context of business, and if you're in the professional world getting paid, you are in business for yourself. Even if you work for somebody else, there's office politics, there's all this shit you got to deal with. Position yourself to extract the most value for what people are trying to get from you, and also put up the barriers to those people trying to prevent you from doing what you got to do. That's it. You do those two things, you're going to be very successful in business. It's not butterflies and rainbows. That is not if you are thinking the business world is Disney World, La La Land, butterflies, rainbows, and, sunshine every day, you are in for a rude awakening. It's cutthroat as fuck. It's cutthroat because you have limited assets, limited resources, limited opportunities. And so when you're out there, you have to look at it from the viewpoint, what are they trying to get out of me? Or how are they trying to stop me from doing what I got to do? Because I'm a threat. That's it. Go out and compete. Go out and do business. And if you're in that world where you're transitioning into the world of business, the sooner you can create scenarios around those two issues, the better off you're going to be. Okay. Now, that's it for the episode because I've been traveling. Again, I don't know what the number is. I've lost track of days, to be quite frank, what day it is today. I've been traveling 8 out of the last 9 weeks straight. just on a lot of things that are in development. But, I've spent a lot of time in Austin. There's a strong Bitcoin community in Austin. I'll be in Vegas next week, or as you're listening to this episode, I will be in Vegas at Bitcoin 2025, BTC 2025, where you have the biggest whales on the planet talking about crypto in the future. And I will tell you this, I can just say through osmosis what I've learned from attending these conferences with developers and influencers and people that have been in Bitcoin since like 2010. It's still early. You still got time. This is the future. Just the way things are moving and what I know about how should I say this? There's a book called The Barbarians at the Gate and Masters of the Universe, or some shit about that. Banking, old school banking. There are things moving in the banking industry that I can't explain it now, but Bitcoin is moving. It is moving. And, less than, 0.1% of the entire planet owns a full Bitcoin. Okay? And so when you're looking at it like that, and when you're looking at there's 8 billion, 9 billion people on the planet, and the big banks are moving in a certain direction, think about getting into it. So follow LegacyX Token. If you're in Austin, June 12th, go to the Capital Factory. One of my companies, CuraConnector.com, is the headline sponsor at the Health Supernova in Austin, Texas. Similar to Bitcoin in monetary economics, this conference is all about the future of healthcare and technology, AI, and et cetera. So if you're in Austin or you want to learn more about technology in healthcare, go to the Health Supernova conference in Austin. But this goes on a barter exchange. Don't owe me any karma. If you learned anything about this show, about being in business, please do share the show, repay that karmic debt, or support any of the companies that I work on. I'm going to end the show as I end my day. When I close my eyes, right before bed, I think about God and the universe and giving thanks for another day to have been great. Hopefully, I've inspired just one person. It's all it takes for me. That's my repayment of the debt of karma that the universe has given me with all the gifts that I have. And so with that, I want to thank you all. Again, if you're knowledge swole, share the show. That's how we grow. Share the show and be great today, but be even more grateful. And I'll look forward to bringing another episode very, very soon.